Welcome fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic 90s nerds to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yep, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers, but plenty of stuff in between too. And today I'm excited because I'm going to be doing another vlog video. So while I talk a little bit, I might show some of the footage that I took while I was out of town. But first I want to show you guys a few cool things that actually came in the mail after I came back from out of town, and also some books as we're talking about my trip that I actually found out of town at used bookstores. I've been really having a lot of fun going to different places and checking out different used bookstores on my travels, and it's been great fun. So, you know, I had been evacuated for Hurricane Ida, came back, and then we already had this plan to take a trip to Milwaukee for this music festival called Summerfest, because we had these tickets that we had during the pandemic, and then they, moved it. We had bought the tickets before the pandemic happened. So then they had to cancel the festival for that year, and our tickets were good for this year. So we wanted to use those tickets. That's why we left so soon after everything with Ida. But when I got back, I want to say a huge thank you. I can't even believe it. My friend Alex was so sweet. She asked me for my address. At first she was like, do you want any of these books? And I was like, oh no, please don't go through any trouble and send me any duplicates of anything. She's like, well, I really kind of wanted to send you something. And I was like, oh, you fiend, in a good way. So I had no idea what she was going to send me. And I get home, open the package, and this is flipping in it. This! I'm so excited, and I almost cried when I opened this because I released a video about my top 10 dream books that I would love to find at a used bookstore or anywhere, even online, for a decent price. And my number one was, it's a series of books, so I really said any book from the Friday the 13th series. This one is Jason's Curse, and it's the second novel in the series. I am so excited. Thank you so much, Alex. I can't even believe you were so sweet enough to freaking ask for my address and try to surprise me with this, because at first she was just trying, she wasn't saying she was gonna send a surprise. She was just like, do you want any of these extra books I have? And I was like, no, don't go through any trouble. Then she was like, well, I really need your address because I want to send you something special. And so I gave her my address. But yeah, thank you, Alex. And of course, we're talking about Alex, the Bookubus. I will link her channel below. She is one of my favorite booktubers. She is an incredible human, and she's got a great channel. And if you love horror and horror literature, I don't know why you wouldn't be following her. I actually just recently saw, before I got home, when I was just getting off of the plane, that she just released an awesome list of movies she's gonna watch for Halloween time. So I can't wait to take a look at what movies she'll be watching during the spooky season, and I'm excited because I also have a marathon of movies planned, so I can't wait to see if we have any movies in common or anything. But Alex, oh my god, I can't even believe you did this, and she sent a sweet little card with it too. It's a Halloween card! I couldn't even believe it. I was all teary-eyed when I opened it. Again, that was the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me, ever. That was so sweet. I can't even believe that someone sent me a book just because they knew I would love it. Oh, thank you so much. It was my number one dream pick was to have one of those books, and you freaking found it and sent it to me. Thank you so much. So another book that someone sent me, I'm really excited. The author sent this to me. This is Don't Be Scared anthology series. It's a new anthology series coming out, and this is the book Monster Box as a part of that series. I'm also going to be getting in the mail the Hide and Seek House, because he said he was going to send both. So thank you so much, Peter. I really look forward to reading this around Halloween time. Especially, I think I'm going to read the Hide and Seek House if that one comes in time. If not, I'll just switch it out and read this one. But I'm excited to read both of them, period. So can't wait. That was waiting for me when I got back from out of town as well. We're going into the book mail first, and then we're going to get into the vlog cool out of town stuff as well, so it's kind of like a dual video here. So this is Other Voices, Other Tombs, and I had seen this on one of Cameron's bookshelf tours, but specifically he told me he had a horror version of The Parent Trap in this collection. So I'm really excited because I love The Parent Trap, and the reason Cameron mentioned it to me is because I did a spoof on one of my videos, my summer camp video, where I was doing a little tribute to The Parent Trap, and he said, I wrote a horror version short story of The Parent Trap, and I'm like, really? Did you publish it? And he said, yeah, it's in here. So I can't wait to check it out. I already scoped out where it was in the book. Of course I'm going to read the whole book eventually, but I think I'm going to start with Cameron's story, and then we'll see where I go from there. Might just start back at the beginning after that, but I'm so excited to have this. Alright, and there's a lot of buzz around this one, heard tons of stuff about it. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. I just can't wait to dig in, but it's going to have to wait a while because I can't read this in October. I already have my books planned out, and it's like specific stuff for a readathon I'm doing. And also this will probably be too long for me to read when I'm watching so many movies. I wish I was watching even more movies, but that's neither here nor there. But for right now, yeah, this is gonna have to wait, and it pains me to wait. It pains me so much, but I'm just happy to have it in my hands. It's really a cool book. It's very simple, but I still think it works. Some simple covers aren't bad, and they do the trick just right. Just like some complex covers do. So, they both work. Complex and simple. Here's another book I got in the mail, and it's the last one. Halloween Season, a collection of stories by Lucy A. Snyder, and it says, Not Your Kid's Halloween. So obviously this is a collection of stories for adults. And it just looked good. I heard good things about it, and I bought a couple of collections of short stories for the spooky season, so can't wait to dig into a few stories. I'm not going to read them all, obviously, this year. It's just stuff I want to have in my collection so that I can dip into, every October and September. Now onto the vlog part of the video where I'll explain the things I did, and I didn't really do the greatest job of explaining in the clips. Like, some clips are just B-roll footage, so that's why I'm explaining here. I'll add footage as we go. So the first night, we were in Milwaukee, and we went to, like I said before, Summerfest was the whole reason for the trip. We had these tickets that we had to use because the show had been moved because of the pandemic, so we ended up going now instead of just getting a refund and losing our tickets. We're like, we might as well go, it's rescheduled. And it was awesome because they were requiring basically either a vax card or a negative test for everyone able to go into the event, which is awesome because I'm glad they weren't just letting anybody in at least. I mean, it's not fail-proof or anything like that, but I'm just glad that I had that kind of peace of mind a little bit, and that made me feel a little better. But yeah, the first night was Dave Matthews Band, and I'm not like the hugest Dave Matthews fan. I know one song really well, which is Tripping Billies, which they did not play, which I was kind of upset about, but my boyfriend's a moderate fan of them. He literally loves concerts, and he doesn't even have to be super into a band to want to go, but yeah, he likes them a decent amount. It's not like his favorite band or anything, but he'll go to any concert, really. So we went, and I was like, okay, whatevs. I love Summerfest, though, because there's great food. Like, basically, you'll see the theme in this vlog is food. I'm obsessed with food. There's something wrong with me. Everyone's like, that sees me is always like, you're so tiny, you're so tiny. Yeah, because I have to work out every day because I freaking love food. I love food way too much. It's absurd how much I like food. Everyone's always like, oh, New Orleans is a great city, and all I say is like, yeah, the food. Like, that's all I talk about is the food, and desserts, and sweets, and like, just great dishes, whatever. So anyway, like, the festival, when you walk in, it's massive. It's really great. We have a big festival here, and it's a music festival as well, called Jazz Fest, but honestly, Summerfest is just like another notch above. It's way above Jazz Fest in terms of scope, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of like the organization, and I don't know, it's a lot better than Jazz Fest, to be honest. I like Jazz Fest, don't get me wrong, but it's like not the most organized. It's really crowded, very I don't know, claustrophobic because so many people are jammed in. Whereas Summerfest, even when there was regular crowds, because I did go another year that it was normal, it's still not as like claustrophobic and scrunched in as Jazz Fest is. The grounds are way bigger and cleaner feeling too. So it's a lot different. It's two different types of festivals. But yeah, Summerfest, lots of room. You see all kinds of cool stuff. You see great food. They had like mixed roasted nuts, which I love roasted nuts. I could eat those all day. There's some great ones that I always get from Buc-ee's, which is a convenience store I like to stop by in the South. But yeah, they had a different brand. They just had like, some vendor selling them up there. And also they have this roasted corn that Paul loves, that I got a shot of him eating, my boyfriend Paul, because he always has to get this corn. They dip it in like this liquid butter, this melted butter, and you could put garlic salt all over it, or you could put like, spicy seasonings all over it, and you just eat it. What's on the corn?
A little garlic salt. Scalding hot though. Can't really eat it yet.
No like peppery, spicy stuff?
What's that?
You don't put peppery, spicy stuff on it?
No.
Lame.
Really don't need to put anything on it because they dip it in butter.
It's kind of a messy snack for being at a festival, but it's worth it, and he gets it every time he goes. In fact, he got it 2 times because we went to the festival 3 different nights, and he got it 2 of the 3 nights. That's how much he likes the corn. So I don't blame him. I had a bite. The corn's good too. So great beers too. So you can get great craft beer all throughout the festival. Of course, because usually they have the festival every July, but because of being pushed back and canceled after last year, it got pushed back to September, which is unusual for the time of year. It's never that late in the year. So the good thing, though, is that they had Oktoberfest beers and pumpkin beers at the festival, which they usually don't have. So that was one part of it. So the first night, like I said, Dave Matthews, that was fun. Then the next day, Thursday, I was really excited because we were going to go back to the festival, and this time we were seeing one of my favorite bands of all time. And I don't really have a long list of favorite bands. I'm very picky about music. I'm not like super into music. It's got to be something that I really, really love for me to want to go to a concert. There's like 10 bands that I'd go out and see. Otherwise, I really don't like concerts. I really kind of feel uncomfortable. It's like too many people, too much. It's like, I don't like it. I get annoyed very easily about like everyone, and it's just too much. They can be fun, but like if you don't really like the band, it's like it just doesn't feel like there's a point to be there. But so the Thursday night, the second night we were there, it was the Dropkick Murphys, and I freaking love them, and I was so hyped, and I was like, oh my god, yes, and I was singing along, and there's a clip of me actually singing along to the song of Paul freaking Captured Me when I was not paying attention. But yeah, wonderful stuff, wonderful time, love them. So Dropkick Murphys, yeah, great. But then the real fun began because we actually took a train from Milwaukee to my favorite city ever. I have two favorite cities. One is Boston and one is Chicago. So we took a train to one of those cities, and that was Chicago. It's really not that far away. It was an hour by train, a little over an hour actually. And it was so much fun because some of my favorite food is there. And that's why I said food is a theme in this vlog, because that's like the main thing I wanted to experience in Chicago that day. Did a lot of walking that day, so I kind of burned off, hopefully, some of the food, I think. I don't know. So first thing we did, it took a long time to kind of get to our hotel and then get back to the subway and get to the breakfast place we wanted to get to, but it's worth the trek. So we took the train and we took it to this awesome breakfast place called Ann Sather's. Ann Sather's is literally my favorite breakfast place that I've visited in the entire country. And I've been to a lot of breakfast places all over the country. And this is by far my favorite. So what's cool about it is it actually is like a Swedish breakfast place. So it's really delicious and unique and different. But the thing that they're known for is cinnamon rolls. They have the best cinnamon rolls I've ever tasted. They're moist, they're sugary, they're freaking icing-y. Oh, so much great icing just pouring off of them. I've got footage. It's incredible. And then the cool thing is, so just a few stores down from Ann Sather's, the breakfast place, there actually was a bookstore. And I just kind of discovered that by accident. I've been to Chicago 4 or 5 times, but the last couple of times I didn't really collect books back then. So this was a new experience trying to find a few bookstores while we were already in Chicago. And it was a success because the first place I went to was so close to this breakfast place that we were going to no matter what. So very convenient, short walk, and I'll show you the outside of the place. Here we go. An awesome bookstore right close by to my favorite breakfast place of all time. So here's the bookstore, and there is my favorite breakfast place, Ann Sather's. Alright, and as you saw in the footage where I kind of showed the train passing by and then I showed the books I got, I found at that bookstore 2 Michael McDowell books from the Blackwater series. So I'm very excited. I have this whole collection in the new Valancourt Books reprint edition. It's a big bind up of all of the Blackwater saga, but I'm just so happy to find 2 of the individual books. And because I think the covers are incredible, by the way. That's one of the reasons I was so excited, and I've never seen them at any used bookstore I've visited So look at that, beautiful. Of course, it would be great if I could have found like 1 and 2. I just found some random numbers in the saga, like number 3 and number 6 were the ones I found. So here's number 3, the house. I think number 6 that I just showed you, Rain, that one had a little bit cooler cover than this one, but I like them all. So just excited to have that because I like Michael McDowell and I can't wait to read more of his work. I've read The Elementals so far and it was wonderful. All right, so we did that in the early part of the day. Then wiped out because we were walking so much, took a quick nap, then later it was time for more fun, and we actually looked up a bookstore that kind of focused on horror and sci-fi, and this was a great name for a bookstore. So it was called Bucket O' Blood, and it said, the tagline was books and records. So not only did it have books, it also had records, and I actually got a sticker when I went there. Let me cover up my face. Isn't that gory and cool? Look at this. So they had a really wonderful horror section. I was very impressed. So the vintage horror, it wasn't like a huge selection. It wasn't like the bookstore that I told you about that I visited while I was in Jacksonville while I was evacuated for Ida. But this one was really cool in that it had a lot of indie horror. It had a lot of variety. So it had cool new stuff and it had some old stuff. But it was obvious that they knew horror because they had Paperbacks from Hell, they had like the Valiant Court books, so I bought a few things from them. Even if I wouldn't have found anything old, I would have bought like new stuff because I wanted to support them. Honestly, if it's picking between, it's a book I want anyway, and it's picking between buying it at a used bookstore or buying it at a freaking Amazon, I'm gonna buy at the bookstore every time, even if the price might be a little bit more, just because I want to support the bookstore and for them to stay in business. Alright, so I'm going to start with the newer books and end with the vintage titles that I found at that bookstore. And of course, this is the bookstore as I referenced, Bucket O' Blood. So the first one that I picked up there was just, a new edition of the Manitou. This is just going to be a reading copy for me. This is by Graham Masterton. I do have a old school copy of this. I just don't want to bend it up when I read it, so I bought this one. I can be as rough with this one as I want. It's really just for reading. And again, I didn't feel bad about buying it because it supports the store. There was a lot I could have bought there. There was some things I wish I would have gotten. Afterwards, after I left, I was like, I wish I would have gotten that, and it would have supported the bookstore, so I wouldn't have felt even guilty about it. So the next thing I got, and of course this is one of the Valiant Court books releases. It's an old school book, but reprinted. This is Burnt Offerings, and I can't wait to read this. It won't be anytime soon. I mean, I would love to have read it, over the summer or even, this month in September, but I'm just not going to be able to get to it. But maybe one day. I can't wait to dig into it. I'm glad to just have it on the shelf ready for whenever I feel like picking it up. So, and look at this great cover. It's not the original artwork, but it's still glorious. It still looks really colorful and nice and very eye-catching. Happy to buy this at Bucket O' Blood. Alright, so now the vintage titles that I found there. Alright, I'm going to start from my least favorite to favorite, but I like them all. So this is a different edition of Ghost that I've seen. I've seen other editions online that actually look a little cooler than this one. It has a guy screaming there. This is Ghost by J.N. Williamson, and I'm always going on and on about how J.N. Williamson has great horror covers. This one's pretty plain, but it doesn't bother me. I'm just, happy to have it, and I like how it says Leisure Occult, so it's kind of an old school leisure book because it actually says occult versus horror. And let's see what year this is from. This is from 1984, so happy to add this to the collection. Next up, we have The Soul by Ron Gorton, and I had never seen this anywhere. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but see how the eyes kind of shine? There's these specks there. And of course, I've told you guys this before, I love any kind of book that deals with possession and exorcism and stuff of that nature. So it says a novel of angelic possession. And I like how the back, you have the same eyes, but without the flecks of silver, the sparkly flecks, whatever you want to call them, the little sparkly dots. Love the cover. I think it's wonderful. Of course, this is a zebra title. On the spine, it's not classified as horror, but the possession part is what got me, and I was like, I'm sold! This was published in 1977, so kind of an old paperback. Alright, and finally my favorite one I found at that bookstore. Again, we're talking about Bucket o' Blood, and this is Psychic Spawn. This cover is fantastic. Little ghostly faces and beings coming out of a test tube. Hell yeah. Here's the back, just a description. And the spine, you can see a close-up of one of the ghostly faces in the test tube. This is really great find, in my opinion. I was excited about it. This was published by Popular Library, and this was published in 1987. And I don't know. Of course, it has something to do with Nazis, and I think Nazi experiments gone wrong years later. We'll see. I don't know. I do want to read it one day because it's very intriguing. Yeah, I love the green. Look at this wonderful emerald type of green. Really green. It's very, very potent green. I love it. So yeah, this was, I think, the gem of that store that I found there. That was the gem that I found. After that, we went to a great brewery called Revolution Brewing, and they had a marvelous Oktoberfest that I thought was one of the best beers that I had on the entire trip. I think total went to at least 3 or 4 breweries on the entire trip because I always try to go to many breweries when I'm out of town, and I've been keeping track of how many I've gone to so far. I think I'm up to 159 now after this trip, so hopefully I keep on adding to my list and I can get to 200 very soon because that'd be great. So yeah, that's just breweries all over the country, and actually I think 1 or 2 out of the country that I've been to included in that list. So Revolution Brewing, awesome brewery, really great inside, really cool atmosphere. We got lots of merch from there, lots of stickers, and brought some beer home as well because that's how much I liked the beer. I brought the Oktoberfest home. We just packed it in our, in our luggage that we had to check, and it got here safe when we got back home. Alright, so after that, we went to eat dinner at one of my other favorite places in Chicago, which is Portillo's. It's a chain, and they're known for hot dogs and other things, but what I really love there is their dessert, and it's called the Chocolate Cake Shake, and it's freaking insanely delicious, but also really bad for you. The literal reason for needing to go to Portillo's: chocolate cake shake. 1 billion calories, by the way.
1,400 calories.
1,400 calories. No! I will eat it. The cake shake is worth it because it's not just a shake that tastes like chocolate cake. There's actual bits of chocolate cake at the bottom of the shake. You get chunks of it if you put your spoon, if you ask for a spoon, you put the spoon all the way down, you get the chunks coming out, the chocolate cake chunks. It's marvelous. And the chili dog that I had, also fantastic. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Chili cheese dog with onions and onion rings. My favorite place in Chicago, almost. I don't know, makes you want to drool just thinking about it right now. I'm like, I can't wait to go back already. I love that place. I love Chicago. So really, the entire day was kind of wrapped around flipping, eating, and drinking. So I think we also went to 2 other breweries in Chicago. We went to one before Revolution and one after the Portillo's, I think. Unless we just went home after Portillo's. But anyway, we went to a whole bunch of breweries overall, including, we went to one in Milwaukee as well. It was like kind of wizard themed, which was cool. So Portillo's and all that other stuff, that was on Friday. Spent the whole day in Chicago and the whole night. Then we took the train back to Milwaukee on Saturday, our final day of our trip. And we, of course, went to Summerfest again later that night. And we went to see Guns N' Roses because, again, that's another band that my boyfriend likes. But this time, kind of different from Dave Matthews, is that Guns N' Roses is one of his favorite bands. Me, I mean, it's okay, whatever. I like classic rock, but I mean, that's not in my top classic rock bands or anything. But it was still a lot of fun. And I will say that it was a lot more crowded at Summerfest for that particular show. And I was like, oh, there's so many people. But I'll show you guys a clip. Hopefully, like, YouTube doesn't flag it or anything for the musical rights because it's just like a short video that we took off our phone. But I'll show you a clip of that. And that was kind of the cap off of the trip. Alright guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know it's valuable, and I know I say that all the time, but I truly do mean it. Appreciate you checking out this vlog, and the footage that I showed, and all the books that I got to show off as well. Hope you enjoyed those. Have you read any of the books I showed today? If so, which ones, and what did you think of them? Because I'm eager to know which ones I should dive into first. I'm really excited about those vintage titles in particular. I can't wait to display them, and I can't wait to read them eventually as well. It'll be a really fun time. And thank you again to Alex, aka the Bookubus, for that sweet, sweet, sweet surprise, because you really didn't have to do that, Alex. Thank you so much. I mean, I can't even say thank you enough because it means so much to me. When I got it, I was like, oh my god, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I love the card. It's really so kind. And I'm gonna put it up on my fridge. So thanks so much, Alex, and thanks to all of you once again. Appreciate you. And if you liked the video, consider leaving a like. And this time, that's it for me. Till next time, keep on killing it. Bye, guys.